Dead Tone.
Alright everyone, it's time to review another unknown horror movie, Dead Tone, or as some might call it, 75. And it's a 2007 horror movie about a group of dumbass college kids who go to this big mansion that's owned by one of them's parents, and they play a game called 75 where you dial a random number, you hit star 67 so that they can't have caller ID and they don't know who you are, where you live, and you prank them for 75 seconds, and if they hang up or they don't buy the bullshit you're selling, you lose. What do you lose? Nothing. You just lose. What do you win? Nothing. But they're just dumbass kids. They call someone and they call the wrong person, and that person shows up to fucking murder them all. The end. Now, this is a movie that apparently Magic Johnson had a production company that helped produce this movie. I did not know that. And this movie was shot in May of 2005, the same time that Hatchet was being shot for like $1 million. This movie was shot for $3 million. And just like Hatchet, they both came out 2 years after being shot, except Hatchet is miles better. There will be spoilers in my pros and cons, because there's not much to talk about without just diving into the plot. But you know what I mean. So, spoilers ahead. There will not be a spoiler discussion. It is all spoilers. So, the only positive I can really give this movie is that they attempt some sort of mystery, like some sort of, twist at the end. Although it completely falls flat on its face, they do not set it up properly, it's not interesting, and it's just dumb. They mention this orphan that's been missing for 3 years, because at the beginning of the movie, all the kids, their parents get killed because of their little prank, and apparently they never learn their lesson because they're still playing this stupid prank game 10 years later. But they all got adopted, they all got their names changed. I don't see how that's even a thing. You adopt children and you change their first and last name. They're all like 10 years old, and just because you get adopted, they just change your name fully? That doesn't make sense. If I was 10 years old and someone adopted me and they're like, we're gonna change your name, I'll be like, fuck you, you ain't changing it. But it's not executed well, this little twist, because now it's like, oh my gosh, someone at the party has to be in on it. There's somebody who's not who they say they are, somebody's the missing orphan, but they go to the Scott's house and they find a dead body, but Scott's supposed to be at the party right now. So Scott killed somebody, or Scott's not really Scott. Dun dun dun. So it's just like, was I supposed to not recognize the house? Sorry if I paid attention too much. Not to mention, they have Scott survive a couple encounters with the bad guy off screen. Like, he's just like, oh, I got away, and oh, I couldn't protect this girl, she died, and he left me alone for some reason. It's like, well, then you're obviously working for the killer.
I tried to save her, but I couldn't.
And there's only one creepy, effective scene. It's kind of like Black Christmas in a way. They call the bad guy, and they hear him killing someone on the other line. So it's like, they were calling him to fuck with him, but he's fucking with them back. You call to prank someone, act like you're a killer, but then you find out you're calling a killer who's currently killing somebody, and you hear all the anguish and pain and torture. I thought that was kind of cool. I'm grasping at straws to find positives. I also like the brutality of the killer. He's very tall. He's like Tyler Mane-like height, and he grunts when he's like swinging his axe. So I like that he's like brutal and very loud with this, grunting. So it kind of reminded me of Tyler Mane in Halloween 2. And that's it. Time to go into the negatives. But before we do that, my hottest chick award will go to the hot tub girl who goes under the water to blow this dude. You don't see that too often in movies. Thought that was kind of funny. And the Clapper Award for Best Scene will go to the kitchen massacre when the killer first arrives, chops off a girl's head, and starts chasing these two stoners around, and he's like hacking away at shit. Shows the brutality of the killer, and it's honestly the only entertaining scene in the movie. Alright, now let's talk about this stupid, dull, unoriginal, paint-by-numbers, platitudinous, horrible movie, slasher, with cutaway kills. Cutaway kills, $3 million budget versus Hatchet's $1 million, and it's got a dearth of gore. There's no gore! No boobs, so much sex, so many girls, like, fucking, you get cunnilingus, and, like, guys going down on girls, and all kinds of sex and all these horny college people. They're all getting drunk. Some of them are snorting coke. And nobody's fucking naked. If you're not gonna be entertaining, at least show me some tits, alright? Oh my god, this movie is filled with the dumbest jump scares ever. And not one jump scare is the killer, ever. It's a cat, a friend, a noise, a fucking child in a mask who's at a gas station in the middle of fucking nowhere with this cliche fucking gas attendant, like the gas attendant who's just like got the bad teeth, the scraggly hair, like looks like he hasn't bathed in months, that type of guy. And the guy who, you know, the bathroom's around the corner, here's the key, and has like a raccoon tail hanging from the key, that type of bathroom situation where it's like I'd rather just piss on the floor. So fucking cliche. Like, you've seen it a million times. The type of shit that you would see in Cabin in the Woods poke fun at. That stuff. It's in here. Whose kid is this? They're at a gas station and it's like, we're the only gas station for miles, like 45 fucking miles. Why does this guy live so far away from campus? I guess he's just that rich that he can afford that long of a drive every day to school. Makes no sense. And they even say at one point, just because it's convenient for the plot, there's not a police station for 45 minutes. It seems like everything's just 45 minutes away from this house. How convenient. Living in the middle of butt fucking nowhere. And who is this kid? He's just a jump scare. That's all he is. We got this little 6-year-old like Jedediah kid from like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the remake, that type of kid who just like pops up. And you're like, well, who the fuck are you? And he's that kid. He's got like a mask on, scares the girl, and you're like, who is he? Where are his parents? This gas station is in the middle of nowhere. And there's no way it's that fucking gas attendant's like kid. He's uglier than all hell. So there's no way he reproduced with anybody unless it was like fucking rape.
You sure do have a pretty mouth.
Thank you.
Just so many dumb jump scares, and there's moments of like setups where you think there's about to be something and there's no payoff. There's so many setups with no payoff. And of course, the acting is just meh. Some parts horrible, and it's just bad. You get like the one, guy who's supposed to be like a badass. He's tough. He likes to act tough, but everything he says, it sounds like he's forcing himself to sound tough. It's not believable, buddy. This movie's so low budget that they have a news show with no banner. There's no lower third, so it's just a newsless news show. Like, there's no pictures. They didn't even try to do any editing for the news show, and we got this whole B storyline with this investigation going on into the murders of 10 years ago, as if it's still like this case that they even give a shit about. They never found the killer, and we know that's not gonna play anything into this. It's not gonna come back later in the story, but we got this guy who's gonna investigate it, and for some reason all the kids they became orphans. They had to change their name because plot, fucking stupid. And then it's the typical like chief who's like, why are you even wasting time on this investigation? Just drop it. I don't want you to solve it. And he's like going in to be like, hey, I think I got a lead. Hey, I'm gonna solve this fucking thing that's 10 years old. And he's like, whatever, drop it. I don't want you to solve it. There's people dying every day. Let's just focus over here. It's like, you should be fired. But yeah, that whole like storyline with the investigation thing that keeps cutting back to it, interwoven throughout the whole story, just keeps cutting back from party to investigation, party, investigation. It's only for the last scene to have that payoff, which is the typical thing, yet again, cliche, where the cops finally get the last clue. They show up to the mansion to kill the wrong fucking person. And it happens all the time. It happens in Psycho 2, a great movie. Still a flaw with that movie because it's been done so many times. It's annoying. Cops show up. They immediately shoot someone who's trying to kill the killer. Poof! Yeah! Hooray for me! Balloons, streamers, throw a party. I'm a hero. No, you're not, dipshit. You killed the wrong person without question, and then they walk up to the killer without asking him any questions. Put yourself in those shoes. If you walked into a house of bodies everywhere, and then you shot someone who's trying to kill someone else who's also bloody, wouldn't you be like, oh, I'm gonna handcuff you too, just in case that wasn't the killer? You know what I mean? Like, they don't handcuff him. They just give him like a shoulder rub, like, you're okay now. We saved you. And then they get killed by the other killer who pops up because he was never really dead. And it's like the final, see, another cliche, the final scare. He comes up and swings at them. Like, you know, like the end of Wrong Turn. You know, the cop gets killed by the bad guy who was never dead. But now let's jump all the way back. I jumped all the way to the end because I wanted to get my point across about that whole investigation storyline, because that's eventually where it ends up. It ends up there, and it's just dumb. Take that out. It's stupid. They go to the party, and there's these cops that pull them over in front of their house, and they never say why they pulled them over, and it's never even like established if they are cops. Are they cops? The car they're driving has like yellow, orange flashing lights, like it's some sort of like construction hazard vehicle. Like, it's not a cop car. But the guy treats them like shit because he's like, my dad owns this town. He owns you. And they never even say why they pulled him over. It's just a completely wasted scene that does nothing except say, by the way, there's no police for 45 minutes. And I don't know if they're security guards. Are they making their rounds? Because they're like, this is the last time we'll be driving around these parts. So I wouldn't want anything to happen to you guys around here. And it's like, whatever. And yeah, like the fact that these kids grew up still participating in a stupid game that got their parents killed is bullshit. There is no good characters. You get the actress who plays the stripper Samantha in the last season of that 70s show in here. She's the only one I recognized. And then you got the over-the-top gay cliche character who's overly gay.
Girls, huddle!
Come on, finals are over and you gotta get away. I ain't got shit else to do. You going?
We going.
But yeah, you have Karina. She's got the boyfriend that cheated on her at some point, and she's debating in her mind if she wants to take him back or not and forgive him. I don't care. And she does forgive him. Like that. Shows up the party, fucks him immediately. The killer calls the house back, and he's asking for their address, pretending like he's the pizza guy. But why does he need the address if he has a helper inside already? Because you find out he's got someone on the inside who can clearly just text him the address. And he knows it. So why is he calling asking for the address? Makes no sense. The killer's outfit in this movie is a complete ripoff of Urban Legend. He's got the same big old black parka with the wool, like, you know, fur coat hoodie thing going on, and his face is blacked out. You can't see it. And he's got an axe, a double-sided axe, just like Urban Legend in the opening when the girl gets decapitated in the back from the killer in the back seat in the car. Same shit going on here. There's no original thought put into the killer. This movie is just unoriginal. And then we get this scene where everyone's being massacred downstairs. There's cabinets being destroyed, people being slaughtered, people screaming, and everyone upstairs just having sex. There's not like loud music up there. No one can hear shit. And then they even there's a couple making love in a jacuzzi right outside their window, and only one person kind of hears it, and then they see like the body, and then he goes, oh my gosh, look, there's a body. And then the typical like, oh, now it's not there no more. You're just on drugs. You're seeing things. That type of shit. No one's hearing anything, really. How big is this house? And then at some point, they're like all together, and then it cuts to some other group, and then when it cuts back, uh-oh, this person's missing. We got lost. How did we get lost? We don't know, because we couldn't write a decent script to explain it. So we just cut away, cut back. Oh, that person's missing now. Oh, they're dead. So many off-screen kills, and they even have this gag where it's like this little plot device, I guess, except it does nothing. It's like, oh, the whole house is being filmed. Like the guy who owns it just has everything filmed, every single room and bedroom being filmed. What does that do for the story? Or any scares? Nothing. It does nothing. Because then, like, Samantha, or I guess her name's Katrina in this movie, she sees someone die on the camera, but we don't see it. We just see the aftermath. So why are these cameras here? They don't help anybody. They don't do anything. And then this guy says this.
If that motherfucker come back, sock his ass. Just like I did Scott.
And then I'm like, well, Scott didn't have a double-sided axe, and he's not 6'8", dumbass. Okay, then we get like Kareem and this guy, and this nameless guy, they tackle the killer, they have him on the ground, and Kareem has a knife, and he just keeps stabbing the killer in the same non-lethal spot over and over and over again, like it's leg somewhere, instead of getting him in the gut, in the face. Just keep stabbing in the same spot, and then Scott kills Kareem, revealing himself, his true colors. He's like, I'm not really Scott. I'm Scott's twin brother. Even though at the very beginning of the movie, it was never established that there were twins. Not that I know. I was like, these were all different kids. And then there was never a mention of the brother, the stepbrother from the other brother. There's never a mention of it. Wouldn't that be something that's brought up at some point? It's just stupid. And like when he reveals himself as like, I'm not Scott, I'm the killer now. I escaped from the institution 3 years ago. He takes off his shirt as if that's his mask. Like, now this is how I really look, in a tank top. And then we get the Scream moment where it's like the bad guy motivation. He's like, here's why I did it. You guys played that stupid game again. I got to see my parents die, blah, blah, blah. And now I'm here to kill you, all of you, for that game you guys played. You guys are all assholes. And then he kills his partner in crime right in the face. Just stabs him in the face because getting stabbed right there is really lethal. Fucking moron. And because he's a loose end. Really? He's just as psycho as you. I don't think he's planning on calling the cops on your ass at any point. He's with you 100%. In fact, he's done 90% of the killings. So, you think he's a loose end? If anything, you are. And I like how there's a moment where they're like, that was 12 years ago. The movie clearly stated at the beginning, 10 years later, not 12. But yeah, this movie, at the end of the day, it just sucks. Everything about this movie was horrible. I remember watching this movie for the first time back in like 2010 to 2012, somewhere in there. I watched it a couple of times on YouTube for free because it was just posted on there. I was a little kid, and I really liked it. It was just, I thought it was gory. I thought it was gorier, but it's not what I remembered at all. This movie is awful. Even the bonus features suck. The bonus features are like 60 seconds long, and it's just, you don't learn anything about the movie. You're like, all right, a lot of wasted effort for this piece of shit project. And apparently it's under this Night Tales production thing, this series I've never heard of, hosted by Flavor Flav, the rapper. When the fuck was that ever a thing? Apparently it was, and this is one of their movies, and it's awful. But yeah, at the end of the day, this movie has a couple of decent small moments in it. A big, menacing bad guy, a small twist at the end that isn't executed well at all, so it's just wasted. It's got all kinds of cliches in it. It's not entertaining at all. The acting, the dialogue, the characters, nothing worth watching, nothing to remember from this. So when it comes to Dead Tone, this movie is wasted time. The Mr. Hat Award for the best kill goes to the dumb blonde ponytail chick who gets her head chopped off after answering the door to willfully pay for a pizza that she didn't even order. And the Mr. Twig Award goes to fucking Name It. So many off-camera kills, but fuck it, we'll just give it to Melissa. And those are my thoughts on Dead Tone. Have you seen this movie? Push your thoughts of this in the comments below. If you haven't seen it, don't check it out. Everything I've probably shown you in this review was better and the best parts of it. So you've seen everything you need to. There, check it off your list of need to watch wish list. Get it off of it. Do not watch this movie. It's awful. Anyways, thank you so much for joining me tonight. Hit this like button to show your support, and you can become a subscriber today just by clicking on my cartoon face in about 5 seconds. And until next time, auf Wiedersehen.